Have you ever heard the fascinating rule that some everyday German verbs can actually break completely in half? Today, you're going to learn how to master German separable verbs, one of the most useful grammar rules you will encounter in A1 German. The best part? If you know your basic pronouns like I and you already have everything you need to succeed in this lesson. Mastering this structure allows you to build complete, accurate sentences about your daily routine entirely on your own. Let's start with a very common daily action, aufstehen. In English, this means to get up. In a normal German sentence, a separable verb breaks apart. The prefix, in this case, auf, detaches and moves. To see exactly where it goes, we can use a simple structural blueprint. Every sentence starts with the subject, followed immediately by the conjugated verb. Next comes the information slot. This is where you add context, like the time of day. Finally, that detached prefix drops into the absolute last position in the sentence. Let's drop our pieces into this blueprint. Ich is our subject. Stehe is the conjugated verb. 7 Uhr is our information, and auf lands at the very end. Ich stehe 7 Uhr auf. I get up at 7 o'clock. Notice the link between these two highlighted pieces. You must still conjugate the main verb to match your subject, even though the prefix moved away. Keep this blueprint in mind. You will use this exact same arrangement with every separable verb you encounter in the present tense. Let's test this formula in a supermarket. The verb for running errands or shopping is einkaufen. Watch the separation. We place ich in the subject slot, conjugate the verb to kaufen, add heute for our information, and send the prefix ein to the back. Ich kaufe heute ein. I am shopping today. We apply the exact same structure when communicating. The verb for calling someone is anrufen. The main verb becomes rufe, and the prefix an moves to the absolute end of the layout. Ich rufe meine Mutter an. I call my mother. Regardless of the context, whether you are shopping for groceries or calling your family, the mechanical rule of separation remains identical. Let's map a few more everyday actions to our rule. Take Fernsehen, to watch TV. Following our layout, we get Ich sehe am Abend fern. The separation works exactly the same way when asking a question. With mitkommen, to come along, the verb and subject swap places, but the prefix stays at the end. Kommst du mit? It works for physical actions, like closing doors. Zumachen becomes Ich mache die Tür zu. Every new verb you learn can now be plugged into this same system, allowing you to describe a wider range of daily activities. Let's see if you can place the correct pieces of aufstimmen into our structure. How do you say, I get up at 7 o'clock? The conjugated main verb goes second, and the prefix drops at the end. Ich stehe 7 Uhr auf. Let's do a second challenge. Structure a sentence using anrufen to call a friend. Conjugate the verb to rufe and send an to the far right. Ich rufe meine Freundin an. Great job. Remember the golden rule. Conjugate the main verb and move the prefix to the end. You now have all the knowledge you need to build these German A1 sentences entirely independently. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Do German verbs really break completely in half? If you have been studying the language for more than a few days, you have probably noticed words splitting apart and landing in different places. Today, we are going to clear up that confusion. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to construct your own daily routine using these exact types of words. This structural quirk is a specific A1 grammar rule known as German separable verbs, or Trennbare Verben. Before we begin, grab a physical notebook and a pen. I want you actively building these sentences right alongside me. Once you understand the mechanics of how these words separate, you stop guessing where the pieces go and start confidently engineering authentic German sentences. Look at this animation. Our first separable verb is aufstehen, and it physically splits into two distinct parts, stehen and auf. This word translates to get up, making it a practical starting point for your morning routine. To build a sentence, we'll rely on a strict formula. Notice the structure: subject, the conjugated verb, extra information, and the prefix. First, we start with our subject, ich. Then conjugate the verb to stehe and lock it into the second position. Next, we drop our time marker, 7 Uhr, into the middle information slot. Finally, the most critical part, we take the detached prefix, auf, and send it all the way to the end of the sentence. Ich stehe 7 Uhr auf. As a beginner, it is easy to mistakenly leave auf hovering right before the time information. Fixing that separated prefix at the absolute end of your thought is what creates a natural, native-sounding sentence structure. Now that you are awake, let's move to the next part of the day and handle the grocery shopping. Our verb here is einkaufen. Take your pen and try to write the sentence, I am shopping today, using heute. Check your notebook against the screen. You conjugate the main verb to kaufen in position 2, place heute in the middle, and exile ein to the far right. Ich kaufe heute ein. Let's keep going. With the errands done, it is time to check in with family. The verb for making a phone call is anrufen. Try writing I call my mother, applying the exact same formula. Ich rufe meine Mutter an. By strictly isolating that prefix from the conjugated core, you now have a reliable framework to accurately describe different daily actions. This architectural rule governs dozens of common German actions far beyond your morning routine and errands. Fernsehen means to watch TV, and it follows the exact same pattern for evening leisure activities. Ich sehe am Abend fern. The requirement remains true even when we restructure into a question. With mitkommen, meaning to come along, we ask, Kommst du mit? We apply it to environmental interactions too. To close a door with zumachen, it becomes Ich mache die Tür zu. Because the split and send mechanism is universally standardized, applying the logic of one verb correctly means you can now use dozens of others. Now, let's put your new grammatical competency to the test with 2 rapid challenges. Look at the screen. You have 3 seconds to mentally fill in the missing structural pieces using the verb aufstehen. Ich stehe 7 Uhr auf. The conjugated verb is in position 2, and the prefix is at the end. Let's do one more. Fill in the blanks using the verb anrufen. Ich rufe meine Freundin an. Look down at your physical notebook. You've correctly applied the formula to 2 types of verbs, placing the pieces exactly where a native speaker would. Just remember the golden rule. With separable verbs, conjugate the main verb and move the prefix to the end. Follow Learn German Simply for more actionable A1 lessons. Bis zum nächsten Mal.